Never really push him to do anything
Right,
that he doesn't
but-
want to do, but
That's the goal that we want for him, is to attend college.
ultimately you decide. Maybe, the world's different by the time you grow up, so we'll see.
Before he could even tie his own shoelaces, he was the highest paid YouTuber on the entire planet, raking in over $20 million a year. His face was plastered on Colgate toothpaste, Walmart toy aisles, and even a massive balloon flowing in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. But behind the bright colors and the endless sea of plastic toys is one of the darkest, most highly debated stories in the history of the internet. It's a story of federal investigations, a catastrophic $10 million Hollywood box office bomb, and a childhood that was meticulously scripted, monetized, and sold to the algorithm. Today, we are uncovering the rapid rise and the deeply uncomfortable reality of Ryan Kaji and the Ryan's World empire. We are going to find out exactly how a simple family hobby transformed into a ruthless 24/7 content factory, and why the internet is desperately counting down the days until this former child star turns 18. The multi-million-dollar journey of Ryan Kaji began in 2015 with a very simple, innocent question. At just 3 years old, Ryan was absolutely obsessed with watching toy unboxing channels on YouTube. One day, he looked up at his mother and asked, "Why am I not on YouTube?" His parents, Loann, a former high school chemistry teacher, and Shion, a structural engineer, decided to indulge him. They recorded and posted a simple, low-budget video of a family trip to a local toy store. But the channel didn't just grow, it absolutely exploded. The true universe-altering catalyst was a video titled Giant Lightning McQueen's Surprise Egg. That single, unpolished video captured the exact algorithmic sweet spot of the 2015 internet, eventually racking up a staggering, mind-bending 1.2 billion views. Almost overnight, Ryan Kaji became a global digital sensation. But instead of treating this viral moment as a fun family memory, Shion and Loann recognized the immense, life-changing financial potential staring back at them through the camera lens. They immediately quit their traditional jobs and shifted from treating the channel as a weekend hobby to running it as a high-output, ruthless corporate business. To manage this unprecedented explosion of wealth, the parents launched Sunlight Entertainment, a massive production company that would eventually grow to employ 30 to 40 full-time staff members, including professional editors, animators, and scriptwriters. By 2019, at an age when most kids are just learning to read, Ryan was the highest-paid YouTuber in the world, earning well over $20 million annually. The Kaji family home was completely transformed into a 24/7 content factory. Entire rooms were gutted and converted into professional green screen sets with massive lighting rigs and cinema-grade cameras. At the absolute peak of their production, the family was managing more than 10 different YouTube channels simultaneously and filming up to 25 grueling segments a single week. Critics and child psychologists began to point out the deeply dark reality of this success story. Ryan was effectively the family's sole breadwinner. Ordinary, private childhood moments, like eating breakfast, going down a slide, or brushing his teeth, were meticulously scripted, heavily directed, and instantly monetized. The vital psychological line between a child's safe personal life and his grueling full-time job was completely and permanently erased. As the Kaji empire grew to monopolize the children's entertainment industry, it finally drew the terrifying attention of consumer advocacy groups and federal regulators. Massive watchdogs like Truth in Advertising filed formal complaints, prompting the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, to launch a deep investigation into the family's business practices. The federal government specifically focused on how the Kaji family deliberately blurred the lines between organic, innocent playtime and highly lucrative paid advertisements. Preschoolers, who made up the vast majority of Ryan's audience, are physically and cognitively unable to distinguish between a fun video and a paid product placement. Under mounting legal pressure, the parents hastily rebranded the channel from Ryan's Toys Review to Ryan's World, a desperate attempt to make the content appear more educational and less like a 24/7 infomercial. Critics immediately labeled this a transparent PR move, noting that the sponsored content continued to flow unabated. But the most devastating financial blow came in late 2019 with the record-breaking $170 million COPPA, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, settlement against Google and YouTube. This historic ruling fundamentally changed how the platform monetized child-directed content forever. Targeted ads were heavily restricted, and comments were permanently disabled on all kids' videos. Shion and Loann Kaji eventually admitted in interviews that these massive regulatory changes resulted in a staggering 70% loss of their ad revenue practically overnight. This financial amputation marked the beginning of the empire's slow, agonizing decline. As Ryan entered his teenage years, the multi-million-dollar brand faced a terrifying existential crisis. Its star was physically outgrowing his own character. The toddlers who had once worshipped him in 2016 were now preteens who viewed his high-pitched, toddler-centric content as completely cringe. Meanwhile, the new generation of toddlers currently on YouTube were equally disinterested in watching a teenager with a deep voice and acne pretending to be overly excited about opening a superhero plastic egg. The absolute magic of his relatability was gone. Simultaneously, the public perception of the parents violently soured. Astute viewers began to notice that in interviews and podcasts, Ryan appeared deeply exhausted, incredibly reluctant, and almost dead inside. He would frequently, nervously glance at his father off camera for approval before answering even the simplest questions. While Shion and Loann fiercely insisted they never forced Ryan to film, his defeated body language suggested a very different story. This period saw a massive, undeniable 70 to 90% drop in viewership across their main channels. As Ryan started pulling back, often appearing for only a single minute in videos that mostly featured cheap, recycled animation footage, the internet birthed the Free Ryan movement. Millions of people began to openly count down the days until he turns 18, loudly predicting a future, explosive tell-all documentary about how his parents robbed him of his childhood for digital clout. In a desperate, incredibly expensive attempt to save the dying brand and pivot away from the collapsing YouTube algorithm, the Kajis set their sights on Hollywood. In late 2024, they fully self-funded and produced a massive theatrical release titled Ryan's World Titan Universe Adventure. It was a catastrophic, historic disaster. Despite an absolutely massive $10 million production budget and heavy, relentless promotion across their channels, the film was a total box office bomb, grossing a pathetic $624,000 nationwide. It was universally panned by critics and audiences alike as a horrible home video and a desperate failed cash grab. Countless theaters across the country reported absolute zero ticket sales for the film. The Kajis learned the hardest lesson in entertainment. Just because a toddler will accidentally leave your video autoplaying on an iPad doesn't mean a parent will pay $20 for a movie ticket to watch a teenager pretend to be a superhero. In what many consider their darkest and most controversial move yet, as Ryan has finally stepped away from the camera, Shion and Loann Kaji have immediately begun pushing his much younger twin sisters, Emma and Kate, directly into the blinding spotlight. The 7-year-old twins now have their very own dedicated brand, EK World, complete with their own animation series, merchandise lines, and daily videos. The internet's reaction has been one of profound, vocal disgust, with many massive commentary channels accusing the parents of draining one well completely dry, only to immediately start digging another. The twins are seen following the exact same highly rehearsed artificial formula that made Ryan famous, smiling for the camera and performing scripted skits in an endless loop of monetized childhood. Today, at 14 years old, Ryan's life is reportedly much quieter. He is attending a private high school in Hawaii and pursues normal interests like tennis, swimming, and skateboarding, activities that finally allow him to be a person rather than a highly optimized product. But his legacy has changed the law forever. State lawmakers across the US have begun aggressively passing Kidfluencer laws, legally requiring parents to set aside a strict percentage of a child's digital earnings in a protected trust. This legislation is a direct, undeniable response to the Kaji model of unregulated child labor. As the Ryan's World empire continues to flatline into irrelevancy, it stands as the ultimate cautionary tale of what happens when a childhood is treated as a business chart. It leaves behind a legacy of immense generational wealth, but a deeply, permanently tarnished reputation for the parents who built it. The story of Ryan Kaji asks a deeply uncomfortable question about the modern internet. At what point does filming a home video cross the line into unregulated psychological child labor? Now I want to hear from you. Look at the entire timeline, from the $20 million peak in 2019 to the devastating box office bomb and the immediate pivot to the younger twin sisters. Do you think Shion and Loann Kaji were just smart parents securing their family's financial future? Or do you believe they ruthlessly exploited their children's youth for digital clout? Let me know right now in the comments. Type smart or exploited. The algorithm changes, but the defining moments always happen when the cameras finally turn off. Here on Offstage Equation, we look past the viral highlights to explore the raw, unfiltered human journeys behind the world's most controversial icons. If you want to uncover the dark truths behind the personalities redefining our digital world, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay observant.